Hello, welcome to more yoga with me, Emily. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you're doing well and ready for a little bit of core, a little bit of standing balancing. It's going to be hopefully kind of playful because we'll be trying the same things in a seated balance that we would be doing in a standing balance. So a little bit weird, maybe. I know weird is a strange word to use for physical positions that you're going to be going into. But hopefully, yeah, a little bit of fun, a little bit playful. But as always, let's start lying down because that's the best place to start. I was using a block to weight my mat down. You know, when you leave your mat in the car overnight and it gets freezing cold and then doesn't unroll. Well, and that's me today. All right. Find a place on the mat that's comfortable for your body. And depending on how your day has been, you might need to get some wiggles out, or little stretches, or just fidget even, or yawn. Maybe you feel comfortable being still right away. Can you take a little loop of your shoulder blades toward each other on your back? And then for 3 breaths, inhale through your nose. Exhale, sigh your breath away. Couple more. And then continue breathing however feels best for you today. Could be in and out through your nose, or maybe your mouth if you're feeling a little bit stuffed up. And then notice how your breath is flowing, how it feels. Maybe it feels really open and spacious, or maybe you notice some sticky or choppy spots along the way. Both are fine. Just simply notice. And sometimes the breath is really hard to stay on with the mind. So you might take a scan of your body from the tips of your toes all the way up to the crown of your head and see if there are any interesting spots in your body, any sort of deeper physical sensations that you notice. Maybe on one side, not the other. Maybe you notice muscle gripping or tension. If so, let it go. Last few moments here. And start to bring a little bit of movement back into your body, whatever way feels best for you to wake up. It could be small, it could be a big yawn. You could take it into a full body morning stretch. And then when you feel ready to draw your knees in toward your chest and take a little rock from side to side. And then maybe you draw circles with your thigh bones and your hip sockets, just getting a little bit more mobility, a little bit more movement and release here. All right. And then roll over onto one side. Doesn't really matter which side because Obviously, we're going to end up doing both sides. And then you might bring a pillow underneath your head, or you could cradle your arm, or you could stack your head on your hand. That's what this is called. And then your legs could be extended underneath you, or for a little bit more balance, you could bend the bottom knee, and that'll help kickstand, or just bring your legs forward a little bit, and that will help the balance as well. All right, and now from here, lift the top leg a little bit, turn your toes down so the heel is lifted up towards the sky, and I want you to lift the top leg and then kick it back a little bit as you lift. So just coming up on a bit of an angle. And for some reason, I feel like this is putting a lot of pressure on my bottom hip. So I'm going to adjust my position a little bit. There we go. A few more of these. Whatever leg is lifted, it doesn't matter. But keep the toes pointing down and lift the heel. Last couple here. So just a sort of gentle wakening up of your glutes and the extensors, right? The stabilizers. Last one here. All right, and then shake it out a little bit. And again, bottom leg could be extended or your knee could be bent. And then bend your top knee either as well or just the top knee. And then start to slide it up towards your tree pose, essentially, but on your side. And then you might stay here, or you might start to lift the knee up even higher and extend the leg up to the sky. And then flex the toes and release the leg back down. And then drag the leg up, extend up to the sky, and then slowly lower the leg back down. Now, these could be, your range of motion might be quite a bit smaller. It might be quite a bit bigger than mine. Again, we're just warming up those leg muscles while getting to have a little bit of a relaxing moment lying down on our sides. I, for one, slept terribly last night. So even calling it sleeping would be perhaps misnaming. So I'm liking having the chance to do this while lying down. All right. And then the next time you extend your leg up to the sky, pause there. Flex your toes back toward you. Now your knee can be deeply bent here. It doesn't need to be straight, and your leg might be further away from me or from you. It's probably further away from me than it is from you. Than mine is. You might bring one hand to the thigh or behind the leg, or maybe you take your peace fingers and take a little bind on the toe. A couple more breaths here. So reclined Buddha pose. And it's a tricky one, right? So this is one where I like to remember that Buddha said that life is suffering. So if this feels intense, that's good. You're a true practitioner of Buddhism. Last breath here. All right, and then release your leg. Shake it out, and then we'll do all that on the opposite side. So you can just roll to the other side if you want to, if you don't need to see me. I'm going to do a little flip around and then prop my head on my hand. And then again, your bottom knee could be bent or straight, or it might be in front of you a little bit for a tiny bit more stability. And then lift your top leg up a little bit, turn the heel up toward the sky, toes pointing down, and take those little lifts back and up. For this move in particular, I like having my bottom leg sort of extended slightly forward. Technically, it's flexed forward. So a few more of these, back and up onto an angle. Make sure the heel is leading the lift and the toes are pointing down the whole time. Last couple here. All right, and then shake it out a little bit. And then we'll set up for those sort of extensions, développés, if you will. And then turn the top leg out, right, external rotation, and start to drag the top foot up towards your thigh. Now you might stay lower down. It might come all the way up. It doesn't really matter. And then you can start to release the foot from the leg. Maybe the knee lifts a little bit higher and extend the leg up to the sky. And as you lower it down, flex the toes back toward your leg and lead with the heel. And then slowly come up through tree pose and then out to the side and exhale down. As I say up to the side or out to the side, I really mean up to the sky. So a few more of these. And again, your range of motion might be bigger than mine. It might be smaller than mine. Just go where you need to go. Last one. All right, and the next time that you lift your leg up to the sky, pause there. Flex the toes back toward you. And again, the leg could be lower, your knee could be bent. You might bring a hand to the leg for more stability. Maybe extend the leg. Maybe there's some sort of bind on the foot or the top toes that feels good for you, or at least interesting. And one side might have much deeper range of motion than the other. That's totally normal. But stabilize with the bottom leg. Last couple breaths here in this reclined Buddha pose. It's wobbly, right? It's a tricky one to stay in. And then release the top leg, shake it out, and make your way to hands and knees. And we'll move a little bit here through cat and cow just to help release through the hips and the spine. So knees underneath hips, toes tucked or untucked, and hands nice and wide. And then inhale, lift the tailbone, hollow through the lower back, broaden through your collarbones. Exhale, tuck your tailbone under, round through the spine, really press the floor away from you. And then inhale into cow. Exhale, round into cat. So a few more of these on your own time, on your own breath. As always, if there's any other natural movement that would feel good here, feel free to add on. It could be a wag of your tail from side to side. It could be bigger sort of circles through the whole body. It could be barrel rolls through the chest or shoulders. Last couple breaths here. All right. And then come back to center. Give your hands a little break. And we're going to do a little bit of single knee balancing stuff. So if you'd like to bring some padding underneath your left knee, now is a good time to do that. I've got my chip foam block. Even a folded up towel or face cloth can be enough padding that you're not sort of feeling the floor digging into your knee through your mat. All right, so padding underneath the left knee. Step your right leg back behind you. Pause here with the toes on the floor. Flex the heel back toward you. Belly bend to spine. Press the low ribs up to the sky. Maintain all those activations and then start to extend or lift, excuse me, the right leg a little bit more. Make sure that you don't release through the core and end up dipping through the low back, right? So it's really about working the entire back line of the body at the same time. Option to stay here, or maybe you start to reach the left arm forward, thumb to the sky, palm to the right. And then there's a tendency for that arm to sort of drift down. Can you lift it up and out of your peripheral vision if you can? Back the neck stays long. Keep pressing your right hand into the earth. Press the floor away from you. Belly bend to spine. Low ribs up to the sky. Last couple breaths here. And then exhale, release all the way down. Little wiggle or shake. And then we'll switch the opposite side. So move the padding, if you're using it, to underneath your right knee. And then we'll set up here and step your left leg back behind you. Now again, let's stay here, get some of those activations going. So belly bend to spine, press the floor away from you with your hands. Little squeeze of the bum. Maybe then you lift that left leg. So this is a great place to stay. You're doing a lot of work here, right? Again, make sure that the heel isn't higher than your bum, really. Maybe you start to add the right arm forward and up, thumb to the sky, palm to the left, and then can you lift it up and out of your peripheral vision? Press the floor away with your left hand. Press your low ribs up into the sky. Reach your right fingertips, if they're lifted, and your left heel further away from each other. Last couple breaths here. And then exhale. Release all the way down. Remove the padding, little wiggle or shake or cat and cow. And then shift your hips on one side so that you can come to a seated position. Shake out your legs a little bit. Okay, I lied. I said a little bit of core. There's a bit more core to come. Okay, shake out your legs. All right. And then sometimes it helps just to kind of lift the flesh of your butt sort of back away from your sit bones so that you can find a really sort of nice seated position here. Your legs could be extended. You probably can't see my feet in the film, but that's okay. Spine stays long. Now your legs don't have to be straight. In fact, I encourage a little micro bend or even a deeper bend in the knees. And then lean back a little bit. And then float your arms in front of you. Inhale, lift them up to the sky. And exhale down. So just a couple of these. Now you can make it more challenging by leaning further back, but make sure that you don't round through the spine. Last one here. And then come back up, shake it out a little bit. All right. And then from here, you might cross your right ankle over top of your left thigh. This could be enough for you. If you'd like to go a little bit deeper into the right hip, then lean back a little bit, bend the bottom knee, and then maybe you start to take the thigh toward you. Some of you will have a wrap of the forearms around the shin. It doesn't matter, but I just want you to take a little wiggle from side to side. And again, try to keep your spine long. So if wrapping here means that you really have to sort of round, then don't worry about it. Right? One hand to your heel, keep these toes flexed. One hand to the knee. I mean, that gives you a little bit more room to maneuver anyway. All right. Now lean back a little bit more. Take your left hand to the outside of the right foot, and then inhale here, twist to the right. So we're starting to extend that right leg in front of us as we twist to the right. Now your knee can be deeply bent here. Doesn't need to be straight, right? Maybe the leg is extended. Lean back on a little bit of an angle. You can counterbalance with your right arm behind you. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you de-weight the bottom leg. Maybe you bring them together, toes touching. Maybe you release the top hand and then bring it back and release. And back. Last one. And then slowly release all the way down. Shake it out. Little windshield wiper of the legs. And then we'll do that on the opposite side. So setting up, taking all of the options along the way, if you wish, or at least starting the starting options. Don't go into the first one, or the last one rather. Left ankle can be on top of that right thigh. You might lean back a little bit. Maybe you pick it up and just take little small movements. Maybe you have a deeper sort of lift of the thigh. Maybe there's a bind over top of the thigh that works for you. But again, if it means that you're rounding through your spine, back out of it. Don't worry about it. You can bend the bottom knee a little bit more to give yourself a little bit more space. But any kind of motion here that feels maybe not good, but at least interesting. All right, back out of it a little bit. Take the right hand to the outside of that left foot and then draw the knee toward you. Inhale, lift tall. Exhale, twist to the left. Maybe you start to lift up that left foot. Maybe you extend the heel away from you. The knee could be deeply bent. I'm keeping mine at least micro bent on this side. And then you could lean back a little bit. Maybe you counterbalance with the left arm. If you have space behind you, reach it behind you rather than out to the side like I have to. Maybe you de-weight the bottom leg. Maybe you bring the legs to touch and then let go of the top hand and then bring it back and then let go and bring it back. Last time. And then pause. All right. And then release it all down. Shake out your legs. All right. Make your way into a standing forward fold. Little bounce or wiggle or sway from side to side. Fingertips to shins. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, let it go. 2 more. All right. And bend your knees. Tuck your chin into your chest. Slow as you can, start to roll up to standing. 1 vertebra at a time. Knees bent the entire time. Chin glued to your chest. Till eventually you come all the way up to standing. Couple loops of your shoulders. Up, back, and down. A little wiggle. Noodle. Or shake out. All right, bring your hands to your hips. Take a couple hip circles one direction and then the other. And a little twist from side to side. You could turn it into a sway, shifting your weight from one foot to the other. And then come back to center. All right, send your weight to your right foot. Little buoyancy on that supporting knee. And you can come to the toes on the left leg. I promise you're doing all the work, just giving yourself that little bit of grace of stability. Or maybe you pick up the left knee and then take some sort of soft pulses of the supporting knee. Whoa, your balance might be off today like mine. Kick your heel to bum, maybe lean forward, keep the pulses going. Again, toes could be on the floor. In fact, I feel like this feels really interesting. And then bring that left knee forward again. Inhale here. Exhale, take the knee out to the side. And then back to center. And out to the side. And center. And out to the side again. Toes could be on the earth. Right? And then pause here. You might bring your left hands to your left knee or behind the left thigh. Some of you might have a grab of the toes or the foot, and you could extend that leg. I'm not going to do that on this side. And then counterbalance with the right arm wherever you are. Right? Doesn't matter how high the leg is lifted or if it's extended. A little micro bend on that supporting knee, belly bend to spine. Maybe you challenge your balance a little bit further, looking over the right shoulder. And then slowly come back to center. Bring the left knee into the middle and then switch the grip. So take your right hand to the left knee or underneath the thigh. Inhale here. Exhale, slowly twist to the left. You could reach your left arm back behind you. Again, maybe there's a grab of the foot and some sort of extension that you'd like to do, but make sure that you're not compromising the tall spine and posture. All right, kind of similar to what we were doing, lying on our sides and also seated. All right, inhale, come back to center, and then step the left leg down, shake out the right leg. Oh. All right, send the weight to the left foot. Again, little buoyancy on that supporting knee. You might come to the toes on the right foot and take a few easy pulses. I say easy, I mean kind of soft, right? You're not doing pistol squats at the gym. You're just, bouncing. Maybe you kick your heel to the bum, lean forward, keep the pulses going. Again, toes could be on the earth. Whoa. And then slowly bring the knee forward again. All right, inhale here. Exhale, take the right leg out to the side. Knee could be lifted. Toes could be on the earth. And then come back to center. And then out. And center. Last time out. Maybe you take your right hands to the knee or underneath the thigh. Or maybe there's an extension of the leg here that works. But again, so long as you're not compromising your posture, right? So even with a knee bent, it's all good. Left arm out to the side. For counterbalance, maybe you turn your gaze along the left arm. All right, slowly bring the right knee back to center. Switch the grip. So take the left hands to the knee or the back of the thigh. Lift tall here on your inhale. Exhale, twist to the right. Right arm might come behind you. Again, your toes could be on the earth. You're still doing the work. You're still getting the twist. You're still getting the balance. Maybe you extend the leg away from you. Last breath here. All right, inhale back to center and then step it down. Shake it all out. That's a long standing sequence on one side. Hands to hips, bend the knees. A few easy hip circles, one direction. And then the other. And then inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky. Exhale, dive or fold down to the earth. Forward fold. Fingertips to shins. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, plant your hands, and step back to hands and knees. Little wiggle, or shake, or cat and cow. And then roll over to your hips on one side so that you can swing your legs forward. And then you could do a Pilates style roll down to the mat if you want to, knees bent or straight, or just use your hands. Get yourself down onto your back, however feels best for you. Once you're down, hug your knees into your chest and take a little rock from side to side. So we just did some standing twists, so I'm not too concerned about doing a supine twist here, but let's release into the glutes a little bit. So bring your feet to the earth, keep the knees bent. Cross your right ankle over top of the left thigh, so a figure four stretch. You could stay here. You could deepen it by bringing a block underneath the left foot, or maybe you draw your legs toward you, just using the muscles of your core if you wish, or maybe you bind behind the left leg. If you have a strap, this is a fantastic place to use a strap behind the left thigh. And sometimes I like to rock a little bit side to side just to see if there's an angle that feels a little bit more interesting for the stretch. And then once you've found a position that feels good or interesting or horrible but not painful, stay there for a few breaths. Maybe you deepen it. Maybe you need to back out of it a little bit. Sometimes backing out of the depth of the stretch lets you find a little bit more space, particularly if your muscles are shaking or wobbling, then you're not getting a release at all. Right? They're fighting against the stretch. Last few breaths here. And then gently release your legs, unwind or shake out, whatever feels best for you. And then we'll switch sides. So now cross your left ankle over top of the right thigh, toes peeled back toward your shin. This might be enough. Maybe you start to deepen it either by bringing something underneath the right foot or by drawing your legs toward you. Again, you could take a little rock from side to side. You could bind behind the right thigh. And go where you need to go. And it might feel totally different on one side to the other. And that's normal. Last couple of breaths here. And then slowly, gently unwind your legs. Shake them out. And then make your way into your final resting pose. You could be flat on your back, legs bent or straight in Shavasana. You could rest on your side or in child's pose or in a seated meditation. And there's absolutely no rush to get there. But once you have found your pose of rest, for 3 breaths, inhale through your nose. And exhale, sigh your breath away. Couple more. And let go of your breath control. Let go of any last muscle gripping or tension, particularly in your face or your jaw. With each exhale, let your body melt a little bit deeper into the earth. And take a moment to thank yourself for coming to your practice today, for giving yourself this time to move and to breathe. And stay here longer if you can, 5 or 10 minutes. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.